Normally when I teach a mixed media design, I have everything set up to do it from start to finish in one sitting. And it dawned on me, that's not realistic. That's not even realistic for me, and this is my job. So why do I keep doing it that way? I don't think I ever sit down and just start something and finish it in one sitting. Ever, ever, ever. What I decided to do instead is we're gonna take it one step at a time. Maybe I'm onto something. Maybe you're gonna say, why didn't you ever do this before, Donna? Or you might say, no, I really like to see the whole thing from start to finish. And if you want to see it from start to finish, I've got you. That's still going to be possible because I'll create a playlist and combine all the videos together so you can just hit play all and watch the whole thing come together in one sitting. For today, we're just going to do step 1 and see how that goes. I have a 8x10 canvas. This is the design we're making. You could use your journal, wherever you want to work in. You could do this design on the face of a drawer, a piece of furniture. So anyway, let's get started. And we're gonna just start out by doing this base layer. That's all we're gonna do today. All you need is the Mod Podge and your substrate and I have music. You could maybe use old maps. You can use just plain paper, honestly. It doesn't have to have words on it. It needs to be a fairly porous paper, not shiny magazine. We're just gonna cover this whole canvas. I have done this a lot of times, so I do have a couple little tips to share. One is how I tear my paper. I don't like a straight edge on the canvas showing. You might not bother you. For me personally, I like to have all natural torn edges showing, but I will use a straight edge on the edge of my canvas and fold it over like this, because that actually saves time in trimming the edges here. This tape is on this canvas, you don't need it for this project. It was on it because I was going to do something different with this canvas at some point. I am putting glue on top, glue underneath, and glue in between each layer that overlaps. So this is true old-fashioned decoupage technique. And it's starting to just cover the canvas. So if you're just watching and you're not planning on doing this, that's fine. But if you actually want to do it, you could even right now, you could either pause this video and go get the supplies, or you might even have time to get them as you're watching if they're handy, and make this with me. I've made a couple of these and covered a couple of these. It took me about 25 minutes from start to finish when I wasn't trying to talk and work at the same time. I like to fold the edges over. I'm not worried about them being super clean, but if I'm going to have anything doubled overlapping, I want it to happen on the edge, on this facing part of the canvas, not the top. But that's just a personal preference. It's not a right or wrong. Flattening it out to the best I can, because air bubbles are not a tragedy. If it happens on something like this, obviously it's not a big deal. You can see how some papers wrinkle up and some do not. You might be able to see that there's actually some wrinkling happening here. And I can smooth it out with my finger if I want it flat. But it doesn't bother me for this project. Sometimes you want those to work all of those air bubbles out. And when you do, the way to do that is to make sure you work from the center outward, and you won't have any trouble getting those air bubbles out usually. Some papers are very naughty and they will misbehave and not stick down like you want them to. But book paper pages like this usually are very easy to get to conform to what you want them to do. Oh, look how nicely that fits. I love it. And the one thing I keep doing is, for me, it's kind of easy to keep going around the edges and get those done. But I don't want to let too much dry over here. And so I'm working pretty quickly. The thing about the glue drying before you finish that area is when you come back and you start working it, it might tear if it's starting to dry. Again, not a tragedy. And that's the beautiful thing about mixed media in general, is that it's very forgiving. I like to change up what I'm doing. Like I reach my threshold in doing one technique or doing one thing. I do it in all things. Even when I'm cleaning my house, I can reach my threshold in cleaning the bathroom and I need to stop and then go do something different for a little while and then come back to it. Depending on how things, long things take. I have the capacity to finish something, especially when it comes to making art. Art takes time. It's not quick. Paint parties and things are designed to be quicker and easier, but art in general, it's fun, but it takes time. And it's time well spent. You can just put music on, get lost in the process. This chrysalis is going to go on this side here. I love that. It'll be just like a nice little element to be found by the person who decides to make this their own. So I would love to know in the comments if you have been held back because you feel like you don't have enough time to create. I used to tell myself that too. And I still do. But what I've learned is we don't need more time. What we need is freedom to create in a way that works for us. So that's the biggest reason why I decided to do this in small steps with you, is because I always want to represent things realistically. I don't want to get on here and pretend like this only will take you an hour when it's going to take you 3. The mixed media designs that I've always taught, most people, it takes them about 2.5 to 3 hours to complete the design. And not many of us, most of us don't have 2.5 to 3 hours to sit down on any given day to do something like this. So it just makes sense to me to break it down into manageable steps. And that's how I operate, because I don't get to start and finish something myself, even though this is my job. So I can imagine if it's just, a hobby or something that you wanted to try that maybe you haven't started yet. Maybe you've been doing a lot of watching and learning, but you haven't started to actually apply yet. And there's no shade on that, because I'm a chronic learner and class taker, seminar attender, webinar watcher, whatever you want to call it. I watch and watch and watch and watch sometimes before I start something. There can be some benefit to that. It can also keep you from starting if you spend too much time watching and don't find a way to get started. So my goal is to help you get started. You may also notice that I'm working at my dining table and not in my studio. If you've been hanging out with me for a while, you know that I've had several different studio spaces over the course of the time we started creating together. And this is going to be my space from here on out. And I'm going to talk more about that in some upcoming videos, because there's some goals related to that choice, that decision. My goal is to travel ultimately, but that's a little bit down the road for us still. But it's very important to me to continue working towards that. If I'm not working towards it, I'm working against it, right? So giving up my space now, I look at as getting me that much closer to my goal, which is to travel and create from anywhere. It may also help you out if you do not have a dedicated art space and you would be working at your dining table or your kitchen table, as I am. My kitchen table and dining table are one and the same. I'm hoping that this change might help you see yourself in what I do and how I do things. You might be able to apply something to how you like to work. If you're already someone who is up and rolling and making stuff all the time, or if you're someone who is struggling to get started. As I'm downsizing and dealing with less inventory of art supplies, I'm finding that I feel a lot freer to create what I want. And I'm starting to get to a place where I'm not as overwhelmed by possibilities. So many possibilities has always overwhelmed me because I want to do everything. I want to try everything when it comes to art. I want to go everywhere when it comes to traveling. So as I start working towards my goal, maybe we'll call it create smaller. I feel like managing less inventory and being realistic about how I actually want to spend my time is going to be very beneficial in the long run. I'm in a stage of life where I have more winters behind me than in front of me. I guess I'm starting to get more realistic about those someday type of things. One day I'm going to finish all my scrapbooking. One day I'm going to be caught up on all of my little projects around the house. As we get older, it becomes a little easier to start to let those things go and really get focused on what is realistic. I've created an organization system that has worked for me for many, many years. And it just is something that I didn't give a lot of thought to. It's just the way I sort of started automatically dealing with my stuff in my studio. It actually translated from my retail studio where I taught to my home studio. And it is very much going to work great with my new roaming studio situation. So my system works no matter how big or small my studio is. I would not stay productive without it. This much I know. And there are three really main factors that come into play. The biggest one is resetting my space. And that's going to definitely be happening here because it is just my husband and I could probably take over the dining space for a few days, our dining space, because my husband likes to eat grilled dinner at the island, and I like to eat outside al fresco when it's nice, so it's not a big deal to take up this space. So I'm going to continue to share the process of me slowly paring down my studio and how I'm going to share with you how that goes, because it's a learning process for me. I am certain there'll be some takeaways for you in that process as I share. And we're going to do the second step of this mushroom very soon, but we're going to stop for today because this is enough. This is enough for one sitting. The next time we get together, it'll be so short and sweet, but I'm going to show you how I make these little papers for the third step in our project. We're going to use our book pages again and a couple colors of your favorite paint and some water and a brush. That's all you're going to need. It's easy to clean up right now. I've got a few scraps here that I'm not going to save. Those are going to go right into my paper recycling. And then my one little box that I keep all my word, music, and map paper in is going to go back over there on the shelf. And I have my canvas ready to go for the next time we get together to do the next step on this project. This one simple, easy layer. Just already cool things are happening on this canvas. I love a torn paper background. I love at Christmas time, I love doing this kind of background with wrapping paper or Christmas tissue. We can get into that this holiday season if you want to. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. And I hope you'll come back to do the rest of the design with me and share this with a friend that you want to create with. It's always more fun to create with friends. I wanted to also inspire you. I mean, look at how many mushroom styles there are. Oh my goodness. I mean, you can make mushroom canvases from now until the day you depart this world, and you won't be able to make them all, I don't think. I love how many possibilities there are. Look at all these. Beautiful. The biggest takeaway I have for you today is, rather than thinking about how much time it's going to take, think about how much it's going to give back to you in focus, stress release, a cool finished thing that you made to feel confident and proud of. Also, rather than focusing on how little time we have, let's focus on how we want to use it. I've never been more aware of how I use my time than I have become in the last year, since both of our adult children have flown the nest, and it's just all of a sudden that phase of our life is done. And I'm excited about the next phase, but you can't get that back. I guess now maybe you might say I have more time. It doesn't really always feel like I have more time. I'm just becoming a lot more intentional about how I use my time. And it's a process. It's not an instant, oh, I'm so great at using my time now, because I'm not, but I'm on my way. I'm on my way to using my time better. And I'm inviting you to come with me. Let's use our time better together. So remember, it's not that we need more time. We just need more freedom to create in a way that works for us.